Frazee News is sponsored by the City of Frazee, Pork's Pub, next to Cedar Lido's, Seamless Gutter System, United Community Bank, Daggett Truck Line.
Okay, here's the deal. Another week we don't have any news.
No news is...
All right, he doesn't want to hear it. Anyway,
Okay.
Let's talk about the park here. We'll just tap dance as long as we can and see what we get out of this deal.
All right. All right.
Well, Roger, it's week 10 of the Hijack News.
And here we are. Nobody knows where we're at.
It's a secret,
It's a big secret.
and we're not telling anybody. All right, let's tell them.
All right. R.L. Frazee Park. You know, I lived here about 30 years and didn't even know it was here.
This is probably one of Frazee's best kept secrets. Roger, why don't you tell them where it's at? Again, keep in mind we're tap dancing. We're trying to get
It
through
is
5 minutes.
right behind the school district office. If you've been in Frazee and know where the high school is, the district office is across the street. And right beyond that, and there's a parking here for, must be 400 cars at least, I guess.
Right between the school and the river.
Yeah.
Great park. I'm guessing 7 or 8 acres
By the
back
way,
here.
here's the secret. The
Yeah.
secret is right in here. It's a time capsule. How many cities have a time capsule?
4. I
Four.
counted before you asked the question.
That's one, yeah, one of them was an Ebro.
But Roger, we've got a bunch of things to show them, so let's cut it off here. Let's go up to the big log.
All right.
Yap da 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 da. Yap da 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 da. One of the other items at the RL City Park here in Frazee is a log white pine. This is what put Frazee on the map 140 years ago.
And what could be more exciting than coming to a park and looking at a log?
I don't know. Maybe going to Texas.
That's right.
Oh.
Now let's.
Okay, I'm
Where
sorry.
we gonna go? We gotta show
Hey,
this park off.
We've got the fortress.
That's right.
Let's go look at that.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
Follow us, Carrie.
Well, Don, what is this?
This is the fort. This is what I grew up with as a kid. We would come down here noon hours and play. This is the base to the stack of the sawdust burner when the lumber mill was going. Probably built in the early 1870s.
And this is where they started and burned up all the sawdust, I guess.
Right.
From up. That's really neat.
And I've
I'll
heard
tell-
the stack when it was in
Look at
operation.
this.
You can see this at the juncture of Highway 34 and County 29, about 8 miles north of here.
Wow.
I'm 6'3". If you can get dimensions here,
And
it's
I'm
about
7'4", and look at where I shut up.
Shut up. Well, we've got more to look at, don't we,
All right.
Roger? Rather than getting a fight on camera.
Hey, we got to get to the news too. We'll dream up some news on the way to.
Our next
Stop.
shoot, yeah.
All right.
Well, we're still in the RL Frazee
Frazee.
Park. Directly behind us, the Otter Tail River. And just over this ledge, in fact, not even over the ledge, is part of the old chip pile. A massive yardage of chips from the barking of the trees before
Well,
they
you
could
know,
fall.
Don, we were out here about, 2 or 3 weeks ago and talked about that, and it's really amazing. There's actually sawdust still there, and the last time they sawed logs was in
1918.
1918, and it's still pretty good sawdust.
But just one last clip for the park. Come on out here. This is just a great spot. We've got some news, Roger. Let's do what we're supposed
Hey,
to
by
do.
the way, the last place we were at, that, what do you call that, the burning thing? That is on private property.
Right.
So if you come down here, don't be swarming all over it.
Now we're down to a
Swarming.
minute. Hurry up. Talk
All right.
fast. What do we have for news?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of
Well,
news.
I've got something. The Tamarack Wildlife Association is looking for public input in designing a new logo. Call the Tamarack headquarters and they'll give you specifics.
Well, they can come out here in the park and sit and draw up what
Sketch.
they want. Yeah,
Sketch.
okay, sketch. Z Lanes is opening up, we got to say that.
Outstanding. It's Labor Day,
Labor Day.
coming up. School is open. Teachers, students have as good of a year as you possibly can, and we'll keep checking back with you. Hey, we've got some sports coming up. Football this Friday at DGF. Volleyball Thursday there at Pelican Rapids. Saturday at Pequot Lakes tournament.
I thought it was pick-lock play.
Well, I wasn't going to even let you stumble on that. I'm trying to make you look as intelligent as I can, and you still did it yourself.
Well,
boy, stuff all over you. Anyway, cross country Tuesday at Wadena, so we've got a full lineup. Say, that's it for the Frazee Park.
And we got to say there's only
You better talk fast.
one picnic table out here, so come and get it early.
That's the news.
Bye.
Hi, this is Katie Herman with Do Right Construction in Detroit Lakes. At Do Right, we do it all and we do it right. From top to bottom, we are here to help you with your projects. With the colder weather here, it is now time to focus on finishing that basement you've been putting off and check the insulation in your attic, which can help you save on your heating costs. Check us out at do-rightconstruction.com or give us a call at 218-234-1095. At Do Right Construction of the Lakes, we do it all and we do it right.
Hi, welcome to the Vergus Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thanks for joining me today on this beautiful day. I mean, it's getting to be the winding up of summer. Well, summer actually is gone, even though we don't want to admit it. We had a little bit of snow there, so we know that, and it's just a preview of what's coming. But here you have this beautiful fall day in beautiful city of Vergus, and we are in one of the premier spots that I consider anyway in Vergus, and that's at the Vergus Long Lake Park. And when you come down to the Vergus Long Lake Park, many of us already have gotten to the point where we just take it for granted that the loon is down here, the loon in my background, and it's got a beautiful park setting. It's got the swimming beach, it's got the fishing pier, it's got the picnic area and the playground, and it's just one of the premier areas of the city of Vergus. And I know a lot of people throughout the summer enjoy it, and a lot of people also enjoy it this time of year. And a personal interest of mine, of course, is the fact that we were able to this summer dedicate the trail that connects the Long Lake Park here and the city of Vergus. What I'd like to talk to you about a little bit today is, I'm not sure how many of you remember the history of the Long Lake Park and the loon that is behind me. The Long Lake Park just became into part of the city and was probably brought together, and some of the facilities brought here back in 1953. Well, the loon that you see behind me was a brainstorm of the Vergus firemen, which might seem a little bit funny, firemen sitting around talking about let's go build a loon, but it just kind of shows you how civic-minded a group of people and those firemen were at that time, how civic and community-minded they were. The main people that were spearheading that group that got our Vergus loon here was Roger Hansen, Gordon Dahlgren, Roy Brune, and Cal Bourbon. Interesting, none of them are with us anymore today, but apparently their legacy carries on in this loon right here. This replica right here, if you look at this is a carving. This is an actual wooden carving, and this is the carving that the loon up there was taken after. And I just found that so interesting. We think of our loon here as a tourist attraction, but there was a bigger vision at that time. There was a vision of people coming to Vergus because of the loon. And I'd just like to tell you a little bit of how it all got started. I mean, it's been 45 years ago, and so there's a lot of you that maybe don't even remember, but just like with the trail, just like with a lot of other community projects, there wasn't a Lions Club at that time, there wasn't a Rotary, and so it took a few people, and it took one group, which ended up being the firemen of the city of Vergus. It took that group to say, let's build a loon, let's build something, a symbol that people will be able to identify Vergus with. So they started a fundraising project. The firemen kicked in the first $100, and I was going through some different papers, and there were some people, there was donations that were given, and as small as $3. The normal donation was $5. And when you stop and think of that in the whole realm of building this statue, which was over $2,000, well, they raised $2,000 in donations, and I think there was another $1,000 that was kicked in that, you know, to help that to build it. And so once they got that $2,000, then they made the plans, and they had the gentleman that carved this was Ellis Wegstrom. He lived over by Lake Lyda. And then Orville Nettestead, who was a blacksmith in the area, he lived over by Pelican Rapids also. He built the steel frame, and a ton of steel went into building that frame. And upon completion of the frame, a local man by the name of George Happel, he used equipment to bring the frame here and place it right here. A lot of you remember Bob Zitzo. He was a contractor in the area. He poured cement for the foundation. Norb Franklin, another local native of Vergus, did a lot of the plastering and the cement work. And the final painting and touches of it was done by a farmer who lived near Perm, and his name was William Rosen. Armand Dye and Donnie Zitzo, they were electricians. They helped with it. So you can just kind of see it's so typical of small town. It's so typical of the wonderful attributes that Vergus has and the wonderful people that they had. Everybody pulled together. When they finally had it done, they decided that what they were going to do upon completion of it is it was going to be dedicated to former Postmaster Ewald Kruger. And in the sign on the front of the loon reads, "This Vergus loon, the Minnesota state bird, is a community project sponsored by the Vergus Fire Department, and it was dedicated in 1963 in memory of Ewald Kruger, who was a postmaster." On that day, they had a grand celebration when they dedicated that. Governor Rovang was invited to come. They had sky jumping, they had loon calling, they had music, and it was just a grand day for the city of Vergus because they now had their symbol. They had what they had a vision of people coming and it becoming a tourist attraction. And it has. Minnesota state bird is the loon, of course, and so it was a good choice. Some of the people that I know, will say, well, okay, why did you put a loon on Long Lake? Well, there's loons all over, and Long Lake does have a lot of loons. Even though we have a loon lake out by where the Loon Lake Church is, and there's a lot of loons on that lake too, Long Lake does have a lot of loons too. So some people get confused, and as I was going through some of the information that Gordon Dahlgren had from the fundraising and the different letters that people would send out, I found this one, and I thought it was kind of cute. You would probably appreciate it. It was just a postcard. It was written to the Vergus Park Improvement Committee, I'm sure right after they dedicated the loon. It looks like it was right after they dedicated the loon, and it says, "While we were driving through the country, we noticed your big loon. It doesn't belong there. Instead, you should have had a wild goose, maybe a big bird. Only a big fish would have been better. In memory of Mr. Kruger, who loved to fish. We thought we were at Long Lake, or Loon Lake, when someone later said it was Long Lake. How confusing is that? Well, we realize people make mistakes, and you made a big mistake, a big loon mistake." Well, obviously you're going to get information like that, and you're going to get feedback from different people like that. And the reason I brought that up is because I thought that it was, so often we just hear the grand things of it, but there are some people who wondered why we put a loon on Long Lake, and why we put a loon standing up on Long Lake. And I was looking through some information, and it says to think that we were able to build this loon was remarkable as it was, and we decided that we wanted our loon to be in a standing overlooking the lake, overlooking the town. We wanted a tall one, is what the commentary said on that. It's caught on. We have the Loon's Nest, we have Loony Days, we have Loon Drive. Just about any store that you go into Vergus has something loon related. Letterhead from the different businesses have loons on. We've Vergus has maybe taken a little bit more of ownership of the loon than some of your other areas, just because we do have our loon here. But there's also some pride in it, that the fact that it's the state bird. There's pride in the fact that you can say, well, I live in Vergus, and we're a community-minded area. We get things done. We like to start on projects. We like to do things to bring people here. And here it started back 45 years ago. And so I'd like to just really thank the people of this community that are still civic minded and still seeing the importance of it. If you notice, the loon is got a beautiful paint job yet. We keep that touched up, and there was one time it was vandalized, and I remember people here immediately washing that off, and that shows the pride of it. And so when I talk about this giant bird that you see here, and I'm paraphrasing from the speech that was at the dedication, this mass of steel and mesh and concrete and paint will be called by the visitors a replica of the Minnesota state bird. But to the people of Vergas and the people in the area, it is a symbol. It is a symbol of people's cooperative effort to build a monument indicative of their determination, their generosity, and their appreciation. And it has become a symbol. It has become what Vergas is about. So that's a little history on the loon. You have a good day in Vergas, and be sure to stop and see the loon when you're here.